What's up, everyone? All right, so here we are, Wednesday morning, third day of the week, and I'm finishing in the red. Max loss, max frustration, down 5,700 bucks. So today's a day where I took two trades and I lost on both of them. Only two trades, but boom, boom, two red trades, and I'm done in the first 10 minutes. And sometimes that's the way it is. It's a first round knockout, and it's frustrating, and that's just part of the deal with trading. It doesn't always go your way. What's annoying for me is that yesterday I hesitated on the leading gap, or ASTC. I didn't get in at 694 and it popped up to 750 without me. Now the reason I hesitated was because on Monday, when I jumped right into the leading gapper, I lost. I hesitated on Tuesday, Wednesday, I jumped right in and lost. So it's like, it's just one of those days where it feels like you can't win because, if I had done this yesterday, I would have had a great trade, and I do it today, and then it doesn't work, and whatever. It's just frustrating. So that's part of the deal. The second trade that I took, good quality setup, made sense. I got in at 650, drops to 620, then down to 580. 20 minutes later, it squeezes up to 10 bucks without me. How frustrating is that? So I had the right idea, but my timing wasn't quite right, and so, lost on that one. And so for me, after that big loss that I had at the very beginning of the month, I reinstated a max loss on my account. I called my broker. I haven't had it on the account in actually like a year. And, I finally was like, look, a $16,000 loss is just too much, because on that day I was down 12,000, and then I kept trading. And that's how I went from down 12K to down 16K, which is just stupid. It was that extra $4,000, totally unnecessary. It was emotional, it was impulsive. I'm better than that. But, I fell into that old habit that a lot of traders fall into. I gave into FOMO, gave into the emotion. So after that, I was like $5,000 max loss on the account. If I'm down more than $5,000, I'm done for the day. I'm cut off. Don't let me take new trades. And it's live. It's active on my account. So that means right now, since I'm down 5,700, I cannot initiate a new trade without calling my broker and asking them to lift this max loss on my account. So, for me, it's like after the second loss, I was very frustrated. $5,000 is not a lot of money to lose for me relative to where I'm at right now, but I was frustrated because I had two losses in a row. I wasn't doing anything differently from what I would do on any other day. It just, things didn't work, and that's annoying. And if I had gone back in for the second trade when that one started to curl back up, on the one hand, from $6 to $10, $11, I could have made back all my money. But if it had done a second false breakout and I jump in at 7 and then it tanks to 6 and I lose another $4,000, I'm down 9,000, it's just at a certain point you got to draw the line. And so I've drawn the line at 5,000. Below that, I don't take new trades. And that means hopefully the deepest red day I'll have is in the $5,000 range. Granted, if I take a trade and I'm down 25,000 and they don't close my trades for me. So I can hold a stock deep into the red. I've got to still press the sell button. But if I'm below 5,000, I can't take any new trades. So today it feels like maybe that hindered me a little bit, but that's the FOMO talking, because the rational part of my mind says, Ross, the very fact that you were down 5,000 says that it wasn't a very good day for you. You weren't on your mark. Trading maybe wasn't quite right, and you got to draw the line somewhere. And you drew it, and you followed it, and that's what's important. So we'll break it down in today's midday market recap, and you can see my two trades from today that led to a $5,700 red day. All right, everyone. So we're going to break down the trades from today. It's a red day recap. First red day recap in over a week. It's frustrating. Now, we'll go over the trades from today. I'll just pull up my broker screen so you can just see what we're looking at here. So sitting at down $5,700. So a pretty decent size, red day, which is disappointing. This has just been a very difficult month for me. And it's funny how the tide can change in the market. January, made $117,000. Best month of my trading career. And in February, I lost $10,000. For the whole month, I lost 10 grand. So it's like, that's kind of the crazy thing is the market can go from being hot to being cold pretty fast. But then bounced right back in March, 40, 50,000. February, March, April was great. May, 75,000. And then here in June, I'm right now down. I was down only 2,000 on the month as of yesterday. And now I'm back to down, 8,000. So it feels like this is a month like February, just not seeing a lot of clean action. I keep getting caught in false breakouts, really frustrating. And, the last few days have been particularly frustrating. Even though I made 7,700 on Monday, that was nice. It was frustrating that I lost money on GIVO. So the last 3 days, I've actually lost money on 3 of the biggest movers. On Monday, we had GIVO, and I lost money on it. So GIVO was our big gapper on Monday, and I ended up losing money because right out of the gates, it did this. I got in for the break of the pre-market high right here, break a pre-market high, and it dropped. All right. So then yesterday on ASTC, I was a little bit nervous. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to take the break of the pre-market high. And guess what? I hesitated on it. Break a pre-market high of 7. Boom, it squeezes up to 778. Would have been a great trade. So then I get in on a pullback right here, and I get stopped out as it comes back down. I lose $3,000. So on this one, if I had followed my kind of go-to strategy of buying the pre-market high, boom, would have been a big winner. Today on CLBS, big gapper. I jump in for the break of the pre-market high, and what happens? Well, you can see it's all red. So I jump in, and on this one, I took 4,500 shares. So I got in really like pretty fast. I jumped in at 32, 38, and 43, anticipating the break of the $0.50 would then lead to a retest of the pre-market highs. So my target was a break of 73, a squeeze over 12, and then, continuation. It hits 11.45 and then drops 75 cents to 10.75. I held through the drop. It drops down to 10.60. I'm still holding. It then curls back up, squeezes to 11.65, and I'm like, all right, that's what I'm talking about. And then drops to $9.85. So, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what I should have done differently on this one. This was a red to green move setup. I held through the pullback in the red, waited for the red to green move. It happened. As it squeezed up to 66, I still had my eye on that 11.73 mark, which was the pre-market highs. And, next thing you know, it's breaking 11. So on this one, I was like, well, I'm going to have my stop at $11. I got to keep a relative. I can't let it go back all the way to 10.60. So let's just look at this chart for a second. All right, so this is what it does. It squeezes up to a high of 11.65, and then right here is doing a little bit of a micro pullback. So I'm like, all right, I'll give it a chance to curl back up. And then this is 20 seconds. It drops to 10.75. I sell, and I get filled at 10.84, and then it drops, and I have to sell the rest on the bid at 10.28. So I just got slippage on these candles, and then it's a good thing I sold because it just really continued to go lower. I mean, it popped up for a second, but it's just continued to go lower and lower. So on this one, the go-to strategy didn't work. And this all speaks to, kind of comes back to statistics. Because you could say, well, Ross, why are you buying the break of these pre-market highs if, obviously you lost money doing it today on Wednesday, and you lost money on it on Monday. GIVO on Monday, I mean, it's not really price range related. GIVO was in the price range on Monday. It just, for whatever reason, didn't work. Ended up doing a red to green move. ASTC yesterday worked out well enough for that breakout and good win there, but I missed it because I was hesitating. And then today I pulled the trigger and
I got knocked down. So that's where it can be kind of frustrating. And when you're not consistent to your strategy, when you hesitate, then you end up missing winners, and that certainly doesn't help. But one of the things that I always do after a red day, so today's a red day, so what do I like to do? I like to pull up my metrics just to kind of, take a look at where I'm at, big picture stuff. So the last 90 days have certainly been, a little choppy. I mean, last 90 days I've made, I guess, about $180,000. Was a little bit red, came up into the green, couple pullbacks, another pullback. Last 3 weeks, 4 weeks have been kind of choppy. So, this is kind of what I'm looking at. I had a couple really big green days, which were awesome, but I've had some bigger red days as well. And, today's going to be one that's kind of like, a $5,000 loss right around there. So that's high level, a little more detailed, looking at the metrics. This is, let's see, let me just look at year to date, for instance. We'll just do 2000. Well, whatever. I mean, it's fine. This is big picture. This is like 2 years of trading or something like that. 1/1/2017. We'll start there. So since 1/1/2017, accuracy is 70%. So, this is where I say, all right, look, today's a red day. Today's a day where, yes, I did lose on 2 trades, but over the course of 1,500 trades, my accuracy is 70%. That's a pretty strong, metric to base it on. If I go back even further to 2016, when I started using TraderView, you can see here we've got 2,269 trades, and accuracy is the same. We just add 1,200 more trades, accuracy is the same. So I can tell you over a long period of time, I'm right 70% of the time. All right, so yeah, what's going to happen is the losers sometimes get clustered together. You have 2, 3, 4 days that are really tough, and then the winners get clustered together on the other side where you have back-to-back winners. Of course, the thing is when you see these big red days like a $12,000 loss, that's what's always tough to see. So I think today, the thing that makes me frustrated is number one, CLBS, this just really, really bad false breakout. It was just so bad. Now I'll say that this ends up being a triple top, 1, 2, 3, basically 3 tops there. And that 1173 spot, that was a heavy level of resistance. It couldn't break through it. And we got a big rejection there. So, I'm going to eat the $3,700 loss on that one. Disappointing. And then NAKD, that one's just frustrating. So NAKD was watching it. Pre-market high was $8. It had dipped down, and then as it started to surge up right here, it was on our scanners, hit the high day Momo scanner. I jump in at 650. So I jump in it at 650 because I'm like, all right, this thing looks interesting. It looks like it's moving up. Maybe it'll get a move to $8. It kind of had this funny headline overnight. So I get in at 650. It goes sideways. I end up having to stop out around 615. I take a $2,000 loss on it. All right, so I stop out. It ends up dropping all the way down to a low of $5.11. Look at that, $5.11. That is awful. And so I'm like, man, this is just really a tough market right now. It goes sideways, and then here it does a red to green move, kind of like CLBS, except this one actually worked. It breaks 6, it goes up to 7, and it gets halted right here on a 5-minute circuit breaker halt, or 10-minute at 8:20. And so this is that moment where it's like, by this point, I was feeling really maxed on frustration this morning because in the last week, I only made $2,000. Last week was one of the worst weeks of trading that I've had in, months. I mean, making only $2,000 for me is very frustrating. 300 a day, 400 a day, 500 a day, that is very slow trading for me. So I was feeling frustrated. Monday had a nice green trade, $7,600, and I felt like I needed it. Finally, I was, I was getting a nice big win, getting a move higher, and, I felt like, that was a little bit of redemption. And then Tuesday, $1,000, and now today, I feel like it gave back so much of, so much of that profit. So it's just a little bit frustrating, to finally get a nice big win and then to give it back 2 days later. It's just irritating. And to see CLBS not work out, that's frustrating. NAKD frustrating. So I was frustrated. I was just like, that's enough. And here's the thing, I set a $5,000 max loss on my account, and that means that today I cannot take a new trade. If I try to take a new trade, I'm going to get rejected on the trade. So I'll just show you as an example. I'll just try to buy one share, and it's going to say, nope, cannot place any long opening new position orders. So it will not let me place the orders. I can press it again and again and again and again and again. It's going to say, nope, sorry, can't place any new trades because you're down more than $5,000. So that meant it was just like, I'm done. 10 minutes into the day, I'm done, and I'm not going to be able to take any more trades. So that just makes me even more frustrated. And today it meant that I missed NAKD. However, what I would say is that if I had taken this trade, I probably would have been inclined to take big size. I would have been inclined to take big size because I'm down $5,000. And so the quickest way to make that back is to take 10, maybe 15,000 shares, right? Now, yesterday on CLBS, just for reference, we had the stock do this kind of thing where it did a false breakout on the first move and came down. It then comes back up again, and this is the spot where maybe I would have been tempted. I'm going to go for it. It's going to break the pre-market highs. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a big trade on this. And then what happens? You end up getting stopped out. And that's how you go from being down 5,000 on the day to being down 7,000, being down 8,000, being down 10,000. Now, as it turns out, this one ended up working, but this would have stopped you out based on, following your rules on max loss. So on NAKD, God forbid, I let's say jump back in it at 7, and then it does this again. And sometimes when it does it again, it does it even more dramatically, and it goes down to $5. It stops out anyone who is holding through here. Then that's how you go from being down 5,000 on the day to being down 10,000, being down 17,000, whatever it is. And I just have to draw a line in the sand. The June 1st was the worst day I've had trade. It was the second worst red day of my trading career. On June 1st, down $16,000. And it's easy to rationalize and say, well, I've made so much money that, whatever, I could hold it a little longer, which is what I did. And that's how in 3 trades I went, down that much. So I was red on 3 names, and, there it goes 16,000. You have to draw the line somewhere. If you don't draw it, see, I was down 12,000 on this day on these 2 trades right here. I was already down 12,000, and then I took a FOMO trade on this one. I jumped in emotionally and lost another 4,500. Stupid, bad trade, bad mistake. So if I'm down 12,000 and that wasn't enough for me to draw the line and say I'm done, what happens when I'm down 16,000? Am I going to go ahead and take that 5th trade? Because what I'm noticing is that as my gains have gotten bigger and bigger, so have the losses, right? See, the losses get bigger, the gains have gotten bigger, but the losses are getting bigger also. What I want to do is I want to have the losses stay fixed, where I'm not letting them get bigger. Let the gains grow, but continue to respect your max loss. So I've kind of been operating without a max loss for about a year, and it's just sort of like, well, I'm making money. I don't really need to follow that rule. But I think the problem is that I've, as a result, let these drawdowns get bigger and bigger. So this shows my max cumulative drawdown. So, in 2016, my max drawdown was like $5,000. I was only going down 5,000 before bouncing back up. And I made 200,000 that year, 220. But then come here in 2017, I had a $20,000 drawdown. So that was a really bad, 3 weeks of trading. I lost 20 grand. And that was after having taken 583 and turning it into 100 grand. So I, made some really good money, and then I let myself, just kind of let too much of it go. And then you can see a couple of other big drawdowns here, here, and then here. And, this was on whatever, this is June 1st, losing 16,000 in one day. And the day before I'd lost $3,000. So down 19,000 in 2 days. I don't want this to just keep going like this, where I have, the next drawdown, I lose 25 grand. And then I'm losing, 30 grand and 40 grand. I don't want to do that. Yes, obviously I want the winners to keep going up. And when you have exponential growth like this in my account, this is the growth in my account in the last 2 years. So this has grown really quickly. And obviously to take the amount of risk to generate this type of return, there will be drawdown, but I have to draw the line somewhere. That's what I'm trying to say. And so I'm drawing the line at 5,000. And could I have made back some money on NAKD? Sure. I probably could have made back some money on it. However, if it had gone the wrong way, and given this one had pretty big spreads and the volatility was pretty crazy, I could have easily been looking at a $10,000 loss if I really was being emotional and aggressive. And then boom, that's how I get right back to down here. So I just can't do that. I got to draw the line somewhere and keep the hole small. I got to dig out of a $5,000 hole, but I can do that in one day. I can dig out of a $5,000 hole in one day. Digging out of a $16,000 hole in one day, well, it's possible, but that's a little more difficult. My whole trading career, best day was 40,000, second best was 30, third best 29, 29, 22, and those are my 5 best days of all time. So I've only had 5 days in my entire trading career where I made more than $20,000 in one day, right? So to make back 16,000 or 20,000 in one day, I'd have to have like my best day of all time, and that's one of the top 5, and that's not logical. However, how many days have I had where I made more than 5,000? Well, I've had more days than I can even count. So keep the hole small. I can dig out of it quickly, and then I get right back to green. And the day for me to be really aggressive, the day that I made 40,000, the day I made 30,000, those weren't days that I was down $5,000 and then miraculously got myself to up 30. Those were days where the first 2 trades were really big winners. And then I felt confident to take trade 3, 4, or 5 with even more size, and boom, I kept going up. I've never had the biggest day of my career start by being down $3,000. So yes, I've had some days where I've been able to recoup the loss. And in fact, on Monday, I was down, I think, 2,000 before I finished the day up 7,500. So that can happen, but from down 5,000 to up, no, that really doesn't happen. Down 1,500, maybe. Down 2,000, maybe. Down 2,500, maybe. 3,000, starting to get unlikely. And if I go down further than that, the odds of me finishing the day in the green are very unlikely. So I called Lightspeed and asked them to set this max loss on my account. They set it on my account, and now it's live. Now, I could have taken a trade in my IRA today. I could have switched and said, I'm going to trade in the IRA. But here's the thing. I knew doing that would be just emotional. And the thing is, as NAKD was surging up, I had stepped away from my computer. I was like, I'm annoyed. I just got to walk away. I can't just sit here and watch these things happen. Like, that's just going to annoy me. I'm not going to sit here and watch the market when I'm at my max loss. I got to step away. So I step away, I come back, I see it's halted, and I'm like, annoyed, and just figure, well, whatever. I'm not going to trade it coming out of the first halt. In my IRA, there's just way too much risk there. So I'll just come back at it tomorrow. And again, that feels like that's also kind of breaking rules, because if I'm down 5,000 on the day, trading in the IRA, it just doesn't feel like the right day to do it. So it is what it is. It's my 4th red day of the month. Lost 16,000 on the first day of June. Lost $14 on June 6th. Lost $480 on June 11th. And then here today, I'm down 5,700. We've got 7 days left in the month. I'm still down 8,000 on the month. My goal really is to try to close the month in the green. So got to make $1,000 a day pretty much. And I don't know. It seems like the market is very interesting right now. We're seeing a lot of big moves pre-market. CLBS, the bulk of the move was pre-market. The bell rings and it sells off. So that doesn't really work with my strategy. And ASTC was the same thing. Bulk of the move was pre-market. The bell rings and it is selling off. So I do better with stocks that move during regular market hours. NAKD, I guess, counts as that, even though it did this ugly kind of move. But hopefully we'll just continue to see more opportunities off the scanners, and we'll get some redemption. I don't think this is a market where it's safe for me to swing for the fences, and I didn't swing for the fences today. I wasn't taking huge size. This is not a blowout day. I mean, you guys have been following me for a while, know that it's a red day, but it's not a blowout. I'm not gonna, it really makes no difference. It doesn't change anything with my account. I did take out 20,000 yesterday, so I could pay some bills. So I'm at 79,000 this morning, which I was okay with doing because I don't really need this much money in my account these days, given that the market's slow. So tomorrow we'll be at 74,000 or whatever, 73,000, and just keep growing the account, get it back up to the 80s, the 90s, take some money out, get it back up, and it's just that grind. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. As long as the big picture is still green, that's what counts, and it certainly is. So don't feel bad for me today. It's not a big deal. I'll be back at it tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see some better opportunities. All right, guys, so that's it for me, and I'll see you all back here in the chat room first thing tomorrow morning, pre-market analysis, and we'll see if we can bounce back and finish the week strong. If you're still watching, you must have really enjoyed that video. So why not subscribe and get email alerts anytime I upload new content? Remember, when you subscribe, you become a member of the Warrior Trading family.